Barakatah YAHAWAH, BaHa YAHAWASHI, BaHa RAWCHAA QADASH. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is You Can't Change What's Written. And pretty much this lesson was inspired by a video I was watching last night. I believe that was Elder Apostle Tar's video. I believe that's which video it was, but I don't really remember what video it was. You know, it could have been another brother, but I believe it was Elder Apostle Tar's video he did. And pretty much, you know, that was the thought that came into mind in the title. You know, you can't change what's written. And this is what these plantation Christians, you know, / Renaissance Christians are trying to do. They're trying to change the storyline of the scriptures. They're trying to change the contract. This is why we always say you got to go back to the contract. What does the contract say? You can't add. See, this ain't Esau's this ain't Esau's world, you know, as far as the scriptures are concerned. This is Esau's world, you know, pertaining to the world, but as far as the scriptures are concerned, this is not Esau's world. The scriptures do not pertain to Esau. So just because this is his world today doesn't mean that he can alter the storyline and the contract of the Bible. And this is what they're doing. You know, this is why you have clowns like Vocab Malone and the Jakes that follow him. Because those Edomites that follow him, they're supposed to do that. You know, they're trying to get that birthright back. But the Jakes that follow him, those are the ones that, you know, like that dude, I don't know his name, the atheist guy. Then you have Adam Coleman and some of the other guys that are still with him. I don't know if he has, you know, people leaving him, but some of the people that are still with him that are Jakes, they should be getting far away from that dude. You know, just by that alone, you know, by what they're doing, trying to change the storyline of the Bible and trying to erase the Israelites and put themselves in and all nations in. Because ultimately that would be the only way that the other nations can fit in to the storyline of the Bible is if you erase the Israelites out of it and place them in there. That's the only way. And that's why one of the words in the title is change. You can't change what's written. So change is the act or instance of making or becoming different. Then you have synonyms here: alteration, right? Shift. This was probably variance, exchange, and this is what they're trying to do. Mutation. See, a mutation is something that you change from one form to another. I looked up the word change in the etymon line. It says to alter, make different, change. It says to substitute one for another. The storyline is already written. The characters are already written. Their parts are already written. The antagonist and the protagonist, you know, which is a good guy and a bad guy, already set up. You know, so there's no way you can change the Most High's movie. You know, the Most High is the supreme producer, director. You know, he orchestrated the movie. He set the movie up. He set it up how he wanted to set it up. And you cannot change that. We go to Malachi 3:6. It says, for I am the Lord Yahawah. I change not. Matter of fact, another precept came to mind. Let me just get this real quick before I forget. All right, so let me go back. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So you cannot change what the Most High has already written. This is his program. When we go to the scripture here in Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 17. Matter of fact, I started 16. For men verily swear by the greater, and an oath of confirmation is to them an end of all strife, right? Because men's word was their bond back then. Not today. But it says, for men verily swear by the greater, and an oath for confirmation is to them an end of all strife. It says, wherein the Most High willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath. So when we go to this word immutability, I'll show you the spirit working, because as I'm going through the precepts, brothers are putting some of the same precepts up. The word there is ametathetos, not transposed, not to be transferred, fixed, unalterable. When you have a suit and the suit doesn't fit properly, and you take it to a tailor, and the tailor takes the measurements, and gets the imperfections out of that suit, the tailor make it for you. So it's already been tailor-made for the Israelites, that they are the people and the children of the Most High, the ones who are to receive salvation, the heirs of the kingdom of heaven. That's unalterable. Just like you, Esau. Oops, my bad. Just like you, Esau. Just bear with me 1 second. Just like you, Esau, you've been tailor-made. Just relish in your, in your making. Relish in your glory in who you are, man. Be yourself. Romans 9:22. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? So you've been tailor-made for something. The wicked are created for the day of destruction. When we scroll down to the word fitted, vessels of wrath fitted, katartizo, right? It says to render an example, to fit. You've been tailor-made. You have a tailor-made part in the movie. Just be happy you made the movie. Just be happy you made the cut of the movie. You got to have a good guy and a bad guy, otherwise the movie ain't going to work. It says sound complete, to mend what has been broken or rent, to repair, to complete, to fill out, equip. In this case, right, to fit or frame for oneself, prepare. So you've been framed. You've been framed, E. Yo, E, you've been framed, man. You've been fitted, tailor-made for what? For destruction. That's your lot. You're the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Just sep it, man. You can't fight it. You just gotta sep it. So Malachi 3:6, for I am the, matter of fact, sorry, let me go back. So wherein the Most High willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise. Who are the heirs of the promise? This is why the other sons of Abraham were sent away from the Israelites. Why? Because they were not heirs with the son of the promise, which the son of the promise was Isaac. And then from Isaac's two sons, Jacob and Esau, the promise went to Jacob. That is immutable. That is unchangeable. That is not rearrangeable. You cannot rearrange it. You cannot change it. You cannot move it. You cannot push it to the side so you can fit yourself in, because you're that square peg trying to fit in a round hole. You're that piece of the puzzle that is trying to be altered and little corners cut off to try to fit into the puzzle. But when you look at it, he said, this don't fit. This has been altered and it sticks out. One of these kids just ain't the same. One of these kids don't belong here. Like that old saying. So you are that alteration, that mutation, that demon that's trying to, slide in to the promises of Israel. And the spotlight is being put right on you. The Lord got his big, bright spotlight on you. You like that hot, hot white spotlight, or that hot white spotlight is right on you, you know, and you're being exposed. But you still have those that you're going to have power and sway over that are going to be taken by your deception, because that's what they were appointed for, you know, and that's the bottom line. And when you understand that, there's really no room to get upset. I mean, we get upset because of the zeal, you know, of, the vehement desire and in the defense of the gospel. But ultimately, really, we really shouldn't get mad, because this is how the storyline was written. You have those Israelites that are going to wake up and the ones that are not going to wake up. You know, you have these devils that are not, they can't do right. The scriptures say, you know, can you do right that are accustomed to doing evil? And the answer to that is no. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. So if they are the wicked and the earth has been given into their hand, scriptures say that they cover the faces of the judges thereof. So why would you think it's strange for them to try to insert themselves somewhere they don't belong? This is why what's very important in just the thought just left my mind. There was a thought that just came to mind, and then it just left that quick. But if the Spirit brings it back, we'll go into it. But excuse me. But it is important to understand, what the contract says, because when you read the contract and you hear what's being said out there, if it doesn't match, you have to cast it out. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. All right. So it says, wherein the Most High willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, because the Most High already gave counsel Abraham his friend, and he promised him that his seed shall be as the sands of the sea. Curses he that curses you, blessed is he that blesses you, and indeed shall all families of the earth be blessed. Why? Because the Israelites would eventually be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Everything played out perfectly the way the Most High set it up. And all angles are covered in the scriptures. But you're still going to have those that are going to come with their deception. And being that the scriptures say that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, then that means that they're going to do whatever they can, to keep that lie going. That great deception to alter, the scriptures, to alter the people, to make the people come to worship them. And here it is, 2022, and you still have Jakes that are keeping or trying to keep Esau on that pedestal, fighting tooth and nail, mad, pissed off, angry, crying, foam coming out their mouth, shit coming out their ass, peeing on themselves from how angry they are, because we won't accept Esau, because the Most High don't accept Esau. We don't accept nothing that the Most High doesn't accept. Bottom line. You're trying to fit that square peg in a round hole. It ain't going to work. Esau's piece of the puzzle was not to be in the piece of the puzzle of the Most High's chosen. This is why he has to change everything. But you cannot change what was written. Confirmed it by an oath, right? Because he made an oath to Abraham. He made a promise and an oath to Abraham, that by two immutable things in which it was impossible for the Most High to lie. Yeah, because the Most High is not a man that he should lie, which we're going to get that next. We might have a strong consolation, a more sure word of prophecy. It's written and it will be done. Who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us, right? Because the hope that's set before us is written within the pages of this book. And it gives us the whole contract, the narrative of everything that the Most High said would happen. And it's playing out just as the Lord said it would. It says, which hope we have as an anchor of the soul. This is what anchors us in place. As to all the stuff we're going through, still, just dealing with it. Through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, through the Holy Spirit. Both sure and steadfast. Yeah, because once you have that anchor, then the ship ain't going nowhere. The waves are coming, they're crashing upon it, they're trying to sink it, every which way they can, but it's not going anywhere. Why? Because it's founded upon that rock. It's founded upon that stone. And that stone is YAHAWASHI, and which entereth into that within the veil, where YAHAWASHI is at, in the spirit world, where the Most High's throne is. Whether the forerunner is for us entered, even YAHAWASHI made an high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And that's why he was made a high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, to offer offerings for us. Because he's in the presence of the Most High now. He is the high priest now. So that whole Levitical thing, Levitical priesthood, that's done away with. There ain't going to be no Levitical priesthood in the kingdom of heaven. The priesthood that's going to be in the kingdom of heaven is the priesthood of all of the men of the nation of Israel, no matter what tribe they're from. Once YAHAWASHI made that great sacrifice, that great offering, the Levitical priesthood was changed. And even the Apostle Paul spoke about that. So going back here, for I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore you sons of Jacob are not consumed. When we go to the next one, Numbers 23:19, the Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? So whatever the Lord said, that's it. This is why we follow the instructions that are written in the Bible. I seen a thumbnail. One of the brothers put up a video. I can't think exactly what it was. There was something that somebody had said, and they made a video about it. But I can't think of it right now. Salaki, I can't even think of how, I can't think of it right now. But if it comes back, I'll mention it. But it was something along the lines of that change. But I can't, like I said, I can't think of it right now. So let's move on. Isaiah 55:8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi. And here it is. You have this peon, minuscule Edomite trying to change the narrative. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Right. And the Lord already wrote down what he wanted and what was going to go down and what was going to happen. The whole storyline is already there, set up. It says, for as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it to bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. That's right. Because whatever the Lord said he's going to do, that's what he's going to do. We can bank on that. The Lord said he's not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So the Lord, gave the word, and you better believe he's going to execute the word properly. The word is going to go out and be executed the way the Lord said it would. And it doesn't matter who doesn't believe it. It's still going to happen. And you're not going to change what the Lord said just because you don't believe, as the scriptures say. It's going to move forward no matter what. The plans are already set. Everything is in motion. It's moving. You're playing your part out perfectly, you devils, you Edomites. And you're going to keep on with your deception. You're going to keep on with your trying to change the narrative of the scriptures. One of the things they try to change is the contract or the covenant, which is in Jeremiah 31:31. Now, did not the Apostle Paul said he is a, how did it go in Romans 11? He is the minister of the Gentiles or something like that. I magnify mine office, right? So did not the Apostle Paul mention this, the covenant? Would he not have said, well, you know, when you go to the covenant, it says so and such and such that Israel and the nations would be saved. No, because this is the covenant. This is the contract. This is what's written. And it's not going to change. Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahawah. It's the Most High speaking. That I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Right, the water, brother. There it is. Romans 11:13. For I speak to you Gentiles, which are the Israelite foreigners, insomuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. Right. He was the apostle of the Israelite foreigners. So here we're reading, right, that the Lord is going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, because the first covenant that he made was with Israel, as you know, together, when we were together as a nation. You know, so the next covenant that was going to be made with both kingdoms, because both kingdoms would be brought back to one because they were split. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord. Right, and that covenant was what? If you break these laws, you had to shed certain type of animal's blood in order to receive remission or forgiveness of sin. Right? So this, he said that it's not going to be that way. When this covenant is established, it's going to be done a different way. And we understand now that that was through the blood of YAHAWASHI. You know? And he even says that in Zechariah, I believe is the 11th chapter, where it says that this is the blood of my covenant, or something like that, or the blood of the covenant, something along those lines. It says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. Why? Because the whole nation is coming back together as one. Hence the tabernacles of David. And ultimately the whole nation. Matter of fact, let me read this precept that I was in Isaiah 55, the 3rd verse. Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Right. And that's dealing with the nation of Israel. Okay. So it says, saith the Lord Yahawah, I will put my laws in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. So how can the laws be done away with if the second covenant, the Lord is going to put the laws into our inward parts? You see? So this covenant, it debunks a lot of that Renaissance Christianity teachings. You know, how the Lord is dealing with all nations, how the laws are done away with. No. These scriptures are a stumbling block to 2/3, or to the ones that the Lord of Israel that the Lord don't want, and to the other nations. It says, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity and remember their sin no more. Yeah, because iniquity, which is sin on top of sin on top of sin, transgressions, which is sin, many sins, and we know that the definition of sin according to the scriptures is the transgression of the law. So if the law was never given to these nations, how can they be the transgressors and be redeemed back to the Father if they were never given the laws? Think about it. So now let's go from there. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. Now we just read, the brother put the scripture up where the Apostle Paul said he was the apostle to the Gentiles, which we understand that that's the Israelite foreigners. So if that's the case, and he's magnifying his office, and this contract is open to all nations, why didn't he mention that in the new covenant? Salaki for that. The reason for it is because it's not for the other nations. Hebrews 8:6. It says, but now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much more he also is the mediator of a better covenant, which is who? YAHAWASHI, which was established upon better promises, because the laws would be inserted into our inward parts to where it would be impossible for us to go off. It says, for the first covenant had been faultless, was animal sacrifice, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, with who? With the Israelites. He saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Why? Because the Lord, when he made the first covenant, the nation was together. When he set up for the second covenant, the nation was split. Because during the time when Jeremiah wrote that, the nation was already split. You see, you had, this northern kingdom, which was in captivity under the Assyrians. And then you had the southern kingdom that was, on the verge of being taken down by the Babylonians, or had already been taken down by the Babylonians. And by the time that the southern kingdom had been taken down by the Babylonians, the northern kingdom had already moved on and came over to this side of the world, the ends of the earth. It says, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, save the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is why we went into captivity among all these nations. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. So now, being that the Apostle Paul is an apostle of the Gentiles, which we know as the Israelite foreigners, he should make mention of that here, that this covenant is open to the Gentiles also, meaning the other nations. And he doesn't. When you go to Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, that's talking about the Israelites, because even in there, I believe even in there, it uses the word to reconcile. To reconcile is to make somebody friends again, to bring back into the good graces of someone, because they had a falling out. In this case, between Yahweh and Yasha'Allah. And that was Yahawashi job to do, to bring peace between the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and us, Yasha'Allah. All right? That's not talking about the other nations. The other nations were never friends with the Most High. He said, when you go back to Isaiah 40 and other verses, that the nations are but a drop of a bucket to the Most High. They are accounted as spittle. When you spit on the sidewalk, you don't think about, damn, I wonder how that spit's doing. You're trying to get that, whatever that was, out of you. And you don't give it a second thought. For the most part, you're not going to go over there and examine it. I feel sorry for it. Pet it, Oh, poor spit. No. So that's how the Lord feels about the other nations. They're like the small dust of the balance. They're insignificant. So where do these people get off saying that these nations can be a part of this? Then, when they tried to come to build with us, what happened? Zerubbabel, Joshua, and the rest of the leaders of Israel told them, nah, you ain't got nothing to do with us here. Y'all can step. And what did them devils do? They started, to hinder the building. Because they know that they're not part of it. They've never been part of it. And they will never be part of it. The only time they will have anything to do with the laws is when the kingdom of heaven is established. They're going to have to learn the laws. Because the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai are going to be established upon the earth. So they're going to have no choice but to follow what the scriptures say. And if they go off, because a brother asked me, if the nations go off, won't they be sacrifices for them? No. They will be the sacrifice. That's why the Lord said He's going to give us a rod of iron. So if they get out of line, they break the law, guess what? They're going to be the sacrifice. They're going to be broken up like vessels. And if they don't come to worship the Feast of Tabernacles or whatever the Lord tells them to do, they won't get any rain, which that's what? That's a curse. So that ultimately they will be the sacrifice. Because the sacrificing of animals for sins is done away with in Yahawashi. Now you'll have, free will offerings in the kingdom. They'll still be sacrificing, but not sacrificing for sins, transgressions, none of that. Because that's done away with in YAHAWASHI. When you have the high holy days, you got to, and the Most High loves that smell. When you roasting the lamb, and that savory smell comes up. When you cooking a good meal, and Jake smells that, they're like, damn, that smells good. So that's going to still be around, but not the sacrifice for sins. All right. Saith the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Right. It has nothing to do with the other nations. This is the whole blueprint right here. This is the whole contract. But these devils ain't going to get it through their thick skull. Why? Because they're evil. They're wicked. They're wired to be wicked. And they're going to keep pushing that narrative. Because that's what they do. And you have groups out there that get mad at us because they say, all y'all got to do is get on Vocab. Yeah, because we're defenders of the gospel. That's why. What's wrong with you guys' problem? Y'all should be getting on Vocab. Making videos about him correcting what he's botching up. Because you still have Israelites that are falling for that bullshit. For the most part, most of them are going to be destroyed, but you still have the elect that are out there that still need guidance. Yahawashi said, if you love me, feed my sheep, feed my lambs. Part of the feeding the sheep and feeding the lamb is being a defender of the gospel. So what's wrong with getting on the wolf when the wolf comes? What's wrong with exposing the wolf and blowing the trumpet when the wolf is coming? What's wrong with that? And how many times must me slap these fools? What? How many times is enough? Oh, well, once you get on the wolf 7 times, then you don't say nothing else about him. No. Scriptures say that the prophet shall not keep silence day or night until the Lord make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Anyways, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. Right. Israel, baby. In that he saith a new covenant, and here comes a wacky-tacky Christian. Yeah, see, that's the New Testament and the Old Testament. He hath made the first old. So the New Testament is what we follow now. See, the Old Testament, that's finished. We don't deal with that no more. Boy, the is inside joke. Let's go real quick before we break that down. Matthew 13 and 52. And it says, then said he unto them, this is Yahawashi speaking, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. Because the new or the Old and the New Testament both go together. So what does it mean here when as he said, the new covenant, he hath made the first old? What was the covenant? The covenant was a blood covenant. If these are my laws, statutes, commandments, you keep that. If you break these laws, statutes, and commandments, you will have to sacrifice an animal, depending on the severity of the crime, for remission of sin. That's the first covenant. The New Testament was what? Yahawashi shedding his blood on the cross to bring us back into the good graces of the Most High Yahweh by his blood. So when he did that, the first covenant of the animal sacrifice is now waxing old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away, because at the time when the Apostle Paul wrote this, you still had individuals still sacrificing animal sacrifices for sins. That's what he meant. And then as you go to the to the 9th and the 10th chapter, it goes all into, You know, the reason why YAHAWASHI came on the scene, to shed his blood, because his blood is precious. It's more precious than the blood of those animals. And that's not going to change. Now, when we go, another thing they're saying now is that the 144,000 they're not really Israelites. And you have people falling for that. You actually have people falling for that. And it tells you right here, Revelation 7:4, and I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there was sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Let's look up let's look up the word tribes, and let's look up the word Israel. Because maybe it meant the tribes of the nations, or maybe it was all heathens that believe. Tribes is the word phule, a tribe in the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. Wake up, a nation, people, right? The Israelites. Going back. The children of Israel. Let's look up the word children. Hijos. In Spanish is hijos. A son, rarely used for the young of animals. Generally used for the offspring of men. We get the point. And then the last one is what? Israel. Maybe this means all nations. Israel. Israel, he shall be a prince of the Most High. They got it close here. He is a prince with the Most High. I'm surprised they broke it down wrong in the Old Testament, but they got it right here. Ain't that about a bitch? A name given to the patriarch Jacob and born by him in addition to his former name. Right, because the name Jacob and Israel is interchangeable, as you heard the lesson that Elder Pastor did. Just like the name Joseph and Ephraim is interchangeable. It says the family or descendants of Israel. The nation of Israel. Where are the other nations at? Christians, the Israel of God, for not all those who draw their bodily descent, here we go with the bullshit, from Israel are true Israelites. Yeah, you're right. Because not all of the Israelites right now are part of the elect. Only the elect will be saved. That is the Israel of the Most High. The Israelites that are part of the elect. But you also have other Israelites that will be destroyed. That's what it's talking about. It ain't talking about other nations. An example are those whom the Most High pronounces to be Israelites and has chosen to salvation. No. The ones that are chosen for salvation are the physical Israelites. So you got to watch this bullshit. So here it is in the Old Testament, they break the name Israel down wrong. Here they got it pretty good. This is right. But then here you go with the bullshit. All right. So this is the 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel, which are 12. And if that ain't enough, then it goes on to say, of the tribe of Judah was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph, which is Ephraim, were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin was sealed 12,000. So if it's not enough for them to say of all the tribes of the children of Israel, the Most High had them named by name, all 12 of them. And this has never changed. Now, when we go to Revelation 14, and 1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood what? On the Mount Zion, the Israelites, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And when you look this up in the Hebrew, the Greek, the Spanish, the Latin, many different translations, is his name and his father's name written in their foreheads. So these are the Israelites, the Mount Zion, All right. Now, 2 Samuel 7:22. Now check this out. Wherefore thou art great, O Yahawah Bashem YAHAWASHI, power, for there is none like thee. Neither is there any God beside thee. Right, because no one is making decisions for the Most High. He is the ultimate decision maker. Now he has a council up in the heavens. His son is up in the heavens with him. They are all gods when you understand the terminology of the word God. But they are not the Most High. There is only one Most High. That's it. He's the one running things. He's the HNIC. All right. For lack of, so you could understand. It says, or the head power in charge, according to all that we have heard with our ears. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel. Has your people. The Lord said that Jacob is a lot of his inheritance. When he set up all the nations and set up their lands, he set the boundaries of them according to the nation of Israel, because the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is a lot of his inheritance, whom the Most High went to redeem for a people to himself. He didn't redeem all nations. He only redeemed the Israelites. Now you had the mixed multitude that came with them. Why? Because you had to have slaves. It says, and to make him a name. And when he gave Moses the laws, and he actually told Moses to bring the people, to receive that covenant, those were the Israelites. And they all, agreed with the covenant. Moses said the prayers up, cut the ox, sprinkled the blood on the altar, on the books, on the people. And that's what sealed that deal for the first covenant. The other nations weren't there receiving that because it wasn't for them. That's why he says in Psalm, what brother just put it up a little while ago, Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nations, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye Yahawah Bashem YAHAWASHI. And to do for you great things and terrible for thy land before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations and their gods. So, these are the people that the Most High redeemed for himself, the nation of Israel. Then it goes on to say, for thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people Israel, the Israelites, to be a people unto thee forever. So what's up with this replacement theology, supersessionism, replacing the children of Israel with the other nations? What's up with that? When the Most High said that he has confirmed to himself, to thyself, thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever. And thou, O Yahawah Bashem YAHAWASHI, are become their power. So see, these scriptures cut. This is why these Christians, these Renaissance Christians, don't want to deal with the Bible. They just want to deal with what they've been taught. Can you let me know if the feed's still on? Because I see that the picture, okay, came back. All right. They don't want to deal with the scriptures because the scriptures cut them. That's why they want to fight you. They want to bite you. They want to hit you with heels. They want to shoot you. They may kill you. They may stab you. Going out there, inside joke, going out there messing with them lunatics, man. They are not concerned with the scriptures. Now, when it comes out of a man's mouth and their own thoughts and ideas of what the Most High is, that's what they want to hear. Smooth things. That's what that's what attracts them. That's what, floats their boat. But when it comes to hearing the words of the Most High themselves, I believe in God. That's right. Yep. And what's God's word? The Bible, the good book. All right, so let's go to the scriptures. No, they don't want to hear that. Now, that's your interpretation. Who wrote that book? Man wrote that book. So the Most High confirmed Israel, a people to himself forever. Now, when we go to Amos 3:1, hear this word, what that the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi has spoken against you, O children of Israel. And time again, O Israel, O thou Israel, thou backsliding Israel, so against the whole family, because the whole family, every last Israelite is a part of the promise. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Jacob is the seed that the Lord promised Abraham, his son Isaac, and then Jacob. Every seed that came out of Jacob, those are the heirs of the kingdom of heaven. And not one will be lost. That's why it says here in Amos chapter 9 and verse 9. It says, for lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All Israel shall be saved in the kingdom of heaven, because Yahawashi covered all the sins of Israel. The only thing is, this time around, when this salvation comes, only the elect will be saved in this time. But the elect will bring back the ones that don't make it. So against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Israel, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. How many times and how many different ways must the Most High say this? You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Iniquities is transgression on top of sin, on top of transgression. The word there, iniquities, is I1. Perversity, depravity, iniquity, guilty or punishment of iniquity. All right. So the Lord said that's, he only knows the nation of Israel. Okay, we read that. What else was it that I had? I think that was pretty much it. But the point here in 2 Samuel is that the Most High has confirmed to thyself thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever. And thou, Yahawah, art become their power. So the Lord never changed that. That's why it says in Malachi, the first chapter, as we read before, for I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers, ye are gone away from mine ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. But ye said, wherein shall we return? Now, when we go to Isaiah 14 and 1, it says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and what? And will yet choose Israel. Why? For Abraham, his servant's sake, and for the Most High's word and his name's sake. He will not break it for anyone, and set them in their own land, and the strangers, which are the Israelite foreigners, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Why? Because they are Israelites. All right, but the point here is that the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. Why? Because these are this is the seed of the promise. So you can't change what's written. No matter how you try to slice it, it's going to come up Israel. You can slice it forward, you can slice it backward, you can slice it sideways, you can slice it from underneath, from the top. You can slice it, sideways, horizontally. It's still going to come out Israel. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom. And Salaki, I wasn't able to do a lesson yesterday, but I was on a plantation and we worked kind of late. And by the time I got home, I was wasted, So Salaki for that. Lord's will, if the Spirit allows, I'll do another lesson, later. Lord's will, to make up for not being able to do one yesterday. Shalom.